Hi, my name is Matt McNally. I am running for state representative in District 39, which is majority of Carmel and a little bit of Westfield. And in 2022, I retired from the military after 22 years. I'm currently the senior vice commander of VFW Post 10,003 in Carmel. I'm a graduate of the Carmel Citizens Police Academy, and as stated, I'm an airline pilot. My wife, Brooke, and I have lived here for about 10 years, and we've been married for 23 years and have two children who have come up through the excellent public schools that we have here. In 2022, if you recall, we had the Dobbs leak. It was May of 2022. And that's when I made the decision to run. I spoke about it with my family, and I looked at my daughter and said, if I don't stand up and do something, how can I ever look her in the eye? And ultimately, that's the reason I joined the race. Because of my military service, I could not file my paperwork to run for office until my retirement. So like Josh, I was caucused in the beginning of July, and we just started knocking on doors. And shortly after our campaign began is when the legislature, the governor called the special session. And if you remember, it was to deal with the gas tax. And instead, they immediately voted on SB1, which is one of the most complete and total abortion bans in the country. We continued to knock on doors. By the way, we still have not dealt with the gas tax for that special session, but we've continued to knock on doors. And through those efforts, talking to our neighbors and asking them questions and listening to them, we were able to get within about 4 points. I lost by 48% of the vote is what I earned in 2022. I got 49.9% of the vote in Carmel. And that is a great example of where we are right now. In 2022, I also had one of the highest split ticket votes in the state. And I think it's because I was able to draw on my military experience when talking to Republicans. I won several Republican votes. I won several precincts that had been traditionally Republican precincts. And even this year, there's a group of Republicans for McNally that has recently started up that's making up a fairly decent number of business leaders and community leaders. And I was recently asked why. And I attribute it to my military experience. We worked together. We had disagreements, but we put them aside to accomplish the mission. We focused on areas where we agreed and moved forward from there instead of focusing on the issues that divide us. And currently, what we've been seeing, particularly the last 3 years, is divisive culture war issues instead of focusing on issues that help Hoosiers, such as bringing childcare costs down in one of the most expensive childcare, one of the most expensive states for childcare in the country. And this week, my campaign will have knocked on its 15,000th door of this cycle. But for me, it's not about the campaign. It's not about campaigning. It's because I believe that our community needs to see their representatives, and they need to see that they will represent them and listen to them. And we can take two other particular votes. We talked about SB1, and I will also highlight the wetlands bill. These were two bills that were overwhelmingly opposed by Hoosiers. Majority of Hoosiers disagreed with both of these bills in 2022, and then again in 23 when we had further wetlands deregulation. And the supermajority voted for them anyway. And I believe that our community is ready for leaders who will listen to them. And I'll leave you with this story. I don't often talk about my experience in Afghanistan, but in 2010, I was part of a group that had to collect biometric forensic evidence on a group of insurgents that had surrendered to the government of Afghanistan. At the time, the government had a policy that they would reintegrate anyone who renounced their previous ties and swore an oath to the government. And that would be done in a reunification ceremony. So I had to fly up to northern Afghanistan, and I was standing with our interpreter and a Hungarian security team because it was a NATO command. And I had remembered about 10 years prior, a British military officer telling me about some of the tactics that they used in Northern Ireland. And when they would go on patrol, they realized that they should take off their helmets and take off their sunglasses, because the people in the neighborhoods that they were talking to would start to humanize them. And that's something that stuck with me. And so while we were waiting for this reunification ceremony, I took off my helmet, took off my eye protection, and within minutes, a group of Afghans from all backgrounds approached me and sat down, and through my interpreter started asking me questions about America, about the military, about my family. And I talked with them for about 30 minutes. Then they were called to get sworn in for their reunification ceremony, and we left shortly after. But it's a memory that I have forever. And I look at it this way: in order to move forward, we have to take off our helmets. We have to remove the labels, Republican and Democrat, and we have to start working together for what's best for Hoosiers. I'm Matt McNally. Again, I'm running for House District 39 in Carmel and Westfield, and my website is mcnallyforindiana.com.